Week 2, Element 3. So Performance Criterion 3.1 is research, develop and document specific subject matter content according to agreed design options. Now I'm reading from the unit of competency, which hopefully now you've definitely downloaded a hard copy or you've split your screen so you can see the electronic version there. So we need to contextualize any generic unit of competency into the workplace situation. So there might be specific terminology used in the workplace. For example, with case study 1 with Susan, we might use terminology for our training and assessing using the word pedagogy, which is a common term in the education industry. However, because Susan's part of a learning group and some members of that group aren't from the education industry, aren't teachers of the K-12 curriculum, we would then probably back off on terms like that. So, you really have to contextualize it to the group or to the workplace. So this one's going to refer more to case study 2 with John. There might be perhaps terminology in his workplace around, processes. But look, it's probably more going to be about the specific product. So he's got a forklift, a pallet forklift, but is it going to be cold goods? Is it perishable? Is it breakable goods? Is it particularly heavy goods? Is it hazardous materials? So we really need to do a lot of research with his boss or with his immediate supervisor to be able to customize the training that we're delivering him. There might be procedures in John's workplace, occupational health and safety procedures. There would be areas with a forklift where pedestrians are allowed to walk and areas where they're not. However, you can't just rely on human nature and behaviour. Human behaviour is the #1 risk. So even though John's going to be trained that not to expect pedestrians in a particular area and shown the painted areas, he must always be able to view and make sure. So, and then we're also checking for industry best practice. So down the bottom of this slide here, you will be vocationally current and competent. So you are an expert. So if you are John's trainer with forklifts, you're an expert at forklift driving yourself. But you need to keep yourself vocationally current and competent. And we did talk about this in week 1 under the staff induction and that whole quality assurance of that. So you'll need to attend professional development, and some of those can just be some affiliations, some blogging perhaps through your membership with other colleagues, and there's some industry associations there. With Susan's group, I mentioned the pedagogy terminology there, but not all people are from the education department. Learning resources, let's flick to that right now. So I will give you one little site. If you were going to be training in TAE 40110, this is a good site for vet, and it goes beyond this particular training package that we're working in. And when you're an RTO, you can purchase these or access these free of charge and provide them to your trainers and assessors. So let's have a little look for some learning objects. We can browse by training package. Training and assessments there. Yeah. Ah, that's the old TAA. There we are. So training and education, TAE. and we start to get into our more familiar courses. So plan, organise and deliver. That's, you can look at the codes through there. Look, you can have a little bit of a surf around if you like in flexible toolboxes, flexible learning toolboxes. And I have actually moved some of those across for you into your course site. So if we go to week 2 there, you'll see that any of the evoke work now is color coded in blue. And in black, these are some of the flexible learning toolboxes that I've been able to access for free. Now, you've got to remember that you have to contextualize to your group. You can't just download these packages and let them run. You have to work through them, map them back, and make sure that they've covered everything that's current. You can see that a lot of these are the old TAA ones. You also have to contextualize it. So notice in our recorded lectures, you know, I am using a genuine case study there with one of our learners, and we're working through it. So, you know, feel free to go in and have a little look to compare and contrast, but you have to check for currency, you have to check for quality. So I test drove a couple of these and I found that it was really just too bogged down, and the way that we've designed it through Evoke with the webcasts, even though we're having the odd teething problem here at the moment, we just keep reinventing it. Now we're onto the YouTubes to make it nice and quick for you. Essentially though, it's driven by the tutor. It's tailor-made for your particular needs, and that keeps it current and authentic, and really should be a step up on the quality. So have a bit of a look and a compare and contrast, but these are certainly very helpful to make sure that the content is substantial when you then develop your own resources. So flexible learning toolboxes is the site.